सान्द्रानन्दावबोधात्मकमनुपमितं कालदेशावदिभ्या निर्मुक्तं नित्यमुक्तं निगमशतसहस्रेण निर्भास्यमानम् अस्पष्टं दृष्टमात्रे पुनः उरुपुरुषार्थात्मकं ब्रह्मतत्त्वं तत्तावत् भाति साक्षात् गुरुपवनपुरे हन्त भाग्यं जनानाम् अग्रे पश्यामि तेजो निबिडतरकला यावली लोभनीयं पीयूषाप्लावितोऽहं तदुतरे दिव्यकैशोरवेशं तारुण्यारम्भरम्यं परमसुखरसास्वाद रोमाञ्चिताङ्गैः आवीतं नारदाद्यैः विलसदुपनिषत् सुन्दरी मण्डलैश्च
Gurupavanapure Hantabhagyam Jananam. Namaskaram to all the Astikas worldwide. It is indeed a moment of great fortune, Saubhagyam, to be speaking on Sriman Narayaneeyam. I'm sure many of the Astikas will be used to this nama. One primary reason being, the word Narayaneeyam occurs even in Sri Mahabharata. In Sri Mahabharata, which is one of the greatest treasures that we have bequeathed from our Acharya Varyas, has a portion in it called as Narayaneeyam. No doubt, the word Narayaneeyam today is not that oft remembered with the Mahabharata section, rather with a Bhakti Kavya, Bhakti work. What is this work? This work was composed roughly between 400 and 450 years in Bharatadesha, in a small hamlet then, a temple town called as Guruvayur, earlier known as Mammiyur. A lot of your Astikas will be aware of the Bharatas map. In Dakshina Bharata, in the south of India, is a beautiful state called Kerala. In Kerala, there are many, many temples, many cities, many towns. It is often called the land of spices as well. In this beautiful state of Kerala, close to a very prominent city town called as Thrissur, is a hamlet called Guruvayur. It was very much in this hamlet that the composer gave this work called as Srimad Narayaneeyam. Well, we know the name of the work. We know the author of the work. But who is he? Can you give some specifics about the author? Could be a pertinent question from your side. He is called Melpattur Narayana Nambutiri or Bhattatiri. Often when people who are accustomed to this work will often say, Bhattatiri says. If at all you find the word Bhattatiri a bit tough to say, you can say the word Narayana, because he too had the name of the Lord. So he composed on Paramatma Narayana. And his name was also Narayana. So Melpattur is the name of the village. It was very normal for people to append the name of their native villages in the past. True to that custom, he was called Melpattur, the name of the village where he belonged to, name Narayana, the suffix Bhattatiri, which signifies the amount of knowledge that he had gathered. It was like a surname as well as a title which will be given to a person adept in multi-shastras, many shastras. Melpattur Narayana Bhattatiri, 400 to 450 years back, composed this work called as Narayaneeyam in the temple town hamlet of Guruvayur, close to Thrissur in the beautiful state of Kerala in Dakshina Bharata. So we know the name of the work, we know who composed it and where he composed. We have certain questions associated with this. Why did he have to compose? What were the circumstances that led to him composing this work? What is this work all about? And why should he compose it in Guruvayur and nowhere else? And who was he? We know the name, but do we know his whereabouts? What is his biography? Could be a volley of questions that you may want to throw at me. We have many episodes to go, and in each of the episodes we will get into the details of this work, every verse of this work, and succinctly discuss the essence of each of these shlokas so that it reaches to of course, the elderly people whom we have great respects for their age, experience, and the wisdom, and especially to reach out to the youngsters, how liberal, how magnanimous were our forefathers and acharyas to think for the goodwill of the entire world. Well, there is a big phalam, fruit, for reading or listening to this work. Every such listener, all of you who are listening, wherever you are, however, whatever you're doing, there will be a phalam, there will be a fruit, and the fruit is immense. What is it? You may ask me. I will tell you slowly. First, let us understand what is this Guruvayur all about. Sir, Guru. We have heard of the word Guru, which means a teacher. Vayu, air, wind. Or maybe in the south of India, you must have heard of this word Ur, which is very regional in approach to determine a town. Kadalur, Coimbatore. Or there is some Ur there. So it's some place. So there is some place, Ur, which is associated with two people, Guru and Vayu. So Guru, Vayu, Ur, Guruvayur. Well, sir, that's very interesting. But what is this place all about? Could be your question. We have to go into the past while dealing with our Puranas. It is said that there was a couple called Prishni and Sutapas. Prishni and Sutapas as a couple, as a dampati, desired for a well-accomplished, very well-disciplined child. Of course, every set of parents desire a child, the girl or the boy. But they also should desire a child with the grace of Paramatma who is able to do something good for the world. The child should not end up being a detrimental cause, an anti-social element, an anti-national element. The child should be thinking good for the society, should be thinking good and welfare for all sections of the society. So this set of parents, Prishni and Sutapas, wanted a child. They performed austerities, tapasya, towards Paramatma Narayana. Narayana appeared and he asked, What do you want, Prishni and Sutapas? Seeing the resplendent form of Bhagavan, Tatte Pratyagra Dhara Dhara Lalita Kala Yavari Kelikaram Lavanyasyaikasaram Sukriti Janadrisham Purna Punyavataram Lakshmi Nishankalila Nilayanam Amritasyanda Sandoha Mantaha Sinchat Sanchinta Kanam Vapuranukalaye Marutagara Natha. When you see that resplendent form in front of you that dazzles like the diamonds and the suns and the moons put together, what can you speak? Prishni and Sutapas were lost for words. They said, I don't know what to ask for. That is when, out of that excitement for having seen Paramatma, they said, we want. So they said thrice. And Bhagavan is very good at numbers. So they asked, we want a child like you. Because you're so resplendent, you've got a good rupam, you carry so many attributes, you are the repository of all attributes. Give us a child who is like you. Now Bhagavan was in a dilemma. He said, see, there is no one who equals or is greater to me. That is why I am called Paramatma in Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam. One of the namas to Vishnu is Paramatma. So Paramatma doesn't have an equal. doesn't have somebody greater than him. In such a scenario, how can I give somebody like me? But now that you have asked out of devotion, out of bhakti, Prishni and Sutapas, I shall myself be born to you as a child. I shall incarnate. I shall take the avataram as your child. But you've asked thrice, so I shall be born thrice. To Prishni and Sutapas, Bhagavan was born as a little child and he was given the name Prishni Garbha. The same Dampati many years later were born as Aditi and Kashyapa. To them, Bhagavan was born as a little child, as a dwarf. He was called Vamana or Indra's younger brother, hence Upendra. The same Dampati Aditi and Kashyapa were Devaki and Vasudeva. To them, Krishna was born as a Vasudeva, as Krishna himself. So to the Dampati Prishni and Sutapas, to the same Dampati as Aditi and Kashyapa, to the same Dampati as Devaki and Vasudeva, Bhagavan was born as Prishni Garbha, Vamana and Krishna respectively. So Bhagavan's promise or granting of the boon was fulfilled in various time periods to the same Dampati. So in this talk, my focus was that Bhagavan was born. Agreed. But how did he end up being in Guruvayur? That's even more interesting. It is believed that Brahma was performing austerities to meditate upon Bhagavan. While he was performing austerities, Bhagavan gave them a beautiful Divya Mangala Vigraham, a beautiful Murti with Shankham Chakram, with Gada and Padma, beautiful Murti. And Brahma was doing Nitya Aradhana, worship, propitiating that Murti. That Murti was passed on from Brahma to Prishni Garbha's parents, Prishni and Sutapas. Then it went into the hands of Aditi and Kashyapa. And from Aditi and Kashyapa, it went into the hands of Devaki and Vasudeva. So when Devaki and Vasudeva got the Murti, they were worshipping. And later in their very lifetime, as was the custom, the parents worship, they give it to the child to continue worshipping. So this Vigraham of Narayana with Shankham, Chakram, Gada, Padmam was given to Krishna himself. So it ended up being so that Krishna got a Murti of himself. But what happened to that Murti? That's even more interesting. Krishna continued doing Aradhana to this Murti wherever he went. After Kamsa's death, he was in Mathura. From Mathura, he shifted his base to Dwaraka for safety because of Jarasandha's attack. So Krishna was propitiating this Divyamangala Vigraham of Narayana as Vasudeva Murti. This Murti of Krishna, worshipped by Krishna, was continuing for a very long time. But we know the aftermath of the Mahabharata war. There was a curse pronounced upon Krishna by Gandhari that their clan, Krishna's clan, will soon deplete or go into oblivion because they will be infighting. True to these words, Krishna's capital called Dwaraka suffered major floods and there was infighting amongst people. That is when this Vigraha had to be passed. What happened to that Vigraha? We will see in the next episode.
कल्याणरूपाय कलौ जनानां कल्याणदात्रे करुणासुधाब्दे कंवादिदिव्यायुधसत्कराय वातालयाधीश नमो नमस्ते। नारायण 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 नारायण